Okay, so today's episode of the Naija Nerds is brought to you by the letter C for our guest, Cheyenne Ewulu. I guess we could also say it's brought to you by the letter F of Funimation Flashback, the host. She is the host of that show. She happens to be a majorly rising star in pop culture media. She is a presenter, con interviewer, panelist, writer, actress, movie director even. Yes, I said it, movie director, and we'll get into that in just a bit. Thanks for joining us, Cheyenne.
Thank you for having me. Of course, I have to get on the show. Oh my God, I look crusty. I look so crusty, but it's cool.
You make crusty work, girl. You make crusty work. Don't even sweat it. Don't even sweat
Every
it. It's
time it just blanks my face on the screen. I'm just like, but it's okay.
Sweet. Thanks for joining us. So just by way of going around, I've got the usual suspects with me. My name is Naru J. Baje, and I've got my good friend Doc Ball with me. What's up, Doc Ball?
Hi, Cheyenne. Nice to meet you. And if that's what crusty looks like, I need some of that. Trust me.
Down, boy.
And besides Doc Ball, Dr. Ajao.
Hi, I'm the resident box office analyst. I haven't had much to do since the pandemic started. So now they're trying to break me into anime. And it's taking quite well, actually.
And last but definitely not least, Wale.
Hi, Cheyenne. I'm Wally. I like nerdy stuff, and I'm also here on the Naija Nerds podcast.
And he writes comic books. Go check him out at thecomicrepublic.com. Anybody who's listening. So, Cheyenne, thanks for joining us once again. How's your 2020 been?
2020 has been interesting. Started off great. Because we did the My Hero Academia premiere, and that was amazing. And then literally a month later, that's when all hell broke loose in America. And so now, just trying to make it like everybody else, I guess, as much as I can.
Well, I will say this: you had a high point that kind of caught my eye and made me laugh a little bit. And you happen to have this pretty cool anime mug collection. I think you challenged John Boyega.
Oh
with
yeah,
your anime collection this year. So that was a high. That was a bit of a high point. Yeah.
That was really cool. I literally screamed. I woke up to so many tweets and I screamed. I was like, "Is this real life?" I don't even know what he means. I mean, by shit when he responded. But I was like, I don't even care. The funny thing is, I tried to hit up his people and have him on my little Instagram. Podcast live show situation. Right. They said no, but I'm pretty sure if I had actually tweeted him and had got traction from it, we could have made something happen. But
yeah, you make some magic. Speaking of the mugs, by the way, you got any new additions to the group or any new mugs? Yes, no.
Actually,
that's a yes then.
Yeah. Jay has some.
I don't know if I ever showed
mug envy.
I got some major mug envy.
Major mug envy. Nice.
I don't know.
Okay.
But Hisoka is my latest.
I have some very standard stuff. Mine is real simple. I got let's see here. I got this one here. That's the Punisher. There we go.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I
badass.
didn't wear those. I used to get a lot of comic book mugs. I used to get a lot of Batman, Harley Quinn. I do have Batman and Harley Quinn mugs. I just didn't show them in the video. But
I mean, how many mugs does one person need though?
It's not even my fault because I just get sent them. That's really just not even that's just really what it is. I just get sent them. So
okay, now you're just stoking my envy. Now she's just stoking my envy. Big time.
Yeah. I particularly liked your Real or Fake anime challenge that you did for Viz Media. You came up with one of the fake plots. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you remember all the plots, all the fake plots, but I like the one that you came up with, and I'm wondering if you've actually thought of making it into something like a series or a movie or something, and what it will take.
The one where I said I made this up, when
you were 16.
Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah, it was kind of like a prince and a pauper situation. She switches roles with with the queen,
yes.
And only her boyfriend can tell the difference. I just love that. I was like, let it be real, it was fake.
Oh my God, you don't understand. One of my biggest goals whenever like I'm kind of like farther along in whatever career I choose in the future, I want to make a manga. I want to make a manga. And so that's like definitely one of the top things on my list. Like I already have like character designs and stuff. I was trying to find where I put my art, but I think it's like in the boxes in our.
Are you an artist? You draw?
Oh,
I grew up. Yes,
well.
I grew up thinking I was gonna be a mangaka. I really did. I thought I was going to be. I never thought I was gonna do like on camera stuff. I never thought I was gonna do anything. I thought I was going to be an anime artist.
Okay. Wow.
But you know that's not happening yet. You know I would love to still pursue that. You know, but yeah, I draw not as much as I used to. I used to like draw a lot.
Okay.
Oh wow. So you've got quite a few talents there.
I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta be good at something. My parents would freaking kill me. You know, Nigerians don't have a choice but to be good at something.
True. I mean, I watched your ex-roommate short, and I was actually quite surprised and quite happy to see Christina in it. I'm a big cosplayer. I'm a big cosplayer, and she's one of my top cosplayers that I follow. So I know she's great into cosplay. So yeah, I was quite pleased to see her in your shorts. How was it to make that short? I mean, I'm always interested about making films and videos, and I'm very lazy personally. So I'm just wondering how much it take to do.
It was obviously it was my first short film. Aside from like years ago, I made a cosplay documentary called Shades of Cosplay, which you can't find on the internet anymore because I took it down because I was like, which I should probably put back up because I do think it's like a necessary conversation that needs to be had. But that's another conversation for another day. But so yeah, it was like my first like actual short film that I was gonna like be submitting to festivals and things like that, which I didn't think of submitting to festivals until like somebody told me, hey, you should submit this to fucking festival. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. But it was fun, like, cause I directed. I had like I made sure that I had a small role in it so I can like really like show my directing chops with it. And I was like lucky enough to have my friends, like it was like zero budget. So I literally hit up friends on Instagram and I was like, hey, does anybody want to play characters like these for a short film? And Christina and Ashley were like kind enough to be like, let's do it. And my friend who was already a video producer, my friend Drea Whitlock, who's produced for like, top networks, was like,
oh wow,
yeah, I can get like a couple of my friends and we can just like shoot at your apartment. And I was like, yeah, let's fucking do it. So it took us like 2 days, a couple weeks to like get the script together. It took us 2 days to film and shoot. And then it took me like almost a good year to actually like edit everything because I'm working on this like shitty, slow laptop, like editing everything by myself, literally like probably should have tried to hire somebody else to do it, but like I'm very much a person that likes to take control of my own projects.
Right, hands-on.
So here's me editing it on this like shitty old 6-year-old Lenovo laptop, and it took me a whole year because I was just like, because Adobe Premiere kept shutting down. Anyways, that's a whole story. But yeah, it was a process. It was a process.
Yeah. Interesting. Speaking about stories, what's the story about behind the show, Funimation's Flashback show? How did that happen?
Okay, so I've always wanted to work for Funimation. I used to live in Dallas, so I always thought it would actually happen a lot sooner than it did because they're based in Dallas. But that didn't happen. But anyways, so when I hosted with them at Anime Expo, it was my first time working with them at Anime Expo last year. And last year? Okay. Yeah, okay. Last year, sorry.
Don't worry, it's entirely, it happens to all of us. This year has gone by so quickly.
2020 feels like 3 years. So I'm just making sure. Okay, so I hosted with them last year at Anime Expo. It was my first time working with them, and it was their 25th anniversary. And so I had always been like juggling, ideas on like how to work with them. And I had already like, pitched a thing with Viz and like, got to do that with them. So I was like, hey, let me try Funimation. And basically I gave them an idea. I was like, hey, it's your 25th anniversary. Ideally, the plan was to do it sooner, but things happen, and but I was like, hey, it's your 25th anniversary. I would love to showcase a lot of these titles that you guys like really were like the spearhead of like one of the spearheads of like bringing anime to the US. And it would be so cool to be able to highlight like a lot of these shows that I grew up with and love that are also available on your streaming service, right? And so, I pitched a couple ideas to them. They went with the Funimation Flashback one, and
cool. Did they also decide what shows you actually picked, or did you pick the shows yourself?
It's all me. So it's gonna be 13 episodes, and I picked like 13 shows that I grew up with and love. So a lot of them are like really late 90s or really early 90s, and then some of them are like early 2000s. Like maybe I think the oldest is like 2006 or 7 titles. So. Yeah.
So how hard was it to decide which ones you were actually going to pick? It looks like you love a lot of anime.
Yeah, no, it was pretty hard because I was like, man, I really want to showcase like a different range of these shows. I don't want to pick like the typical ones that everybody, is
I see.
onto. So a lot of the titles like you'll see you probably maybe never heard of or like have heard of but just never watched. Like that was like my whole thing. I wanted people, I didn't want the show to just be for people who have seen the show. I wanted it to also be for people who are like into anime or like maybe new to anime and don't know like a lot of the glory classic, titles that, folks like, you and me have grown up with or like, so yeah. Well, I don't even know what the question was. I'm just like randomly sorry.
Yeah.
The question was about picking, how hard it was to pick. I think I've looked at some of the comments underneath. There's a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people are really thrilled at your choices.
Bro, like knock on wood, like because anime fans can be vicious. So here, this is one right here. Okay, knock on wood, because I was like totally expecting people to like flip out in the comments like once they saw like a black girl. Like I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh, really?
It's not even it wouldn't even have been my first time being on the channel. So I mean it's like would be like my first time having my own series on the channel. But like they have the Funimation Anime Expo clips up, they have the My Hero clip from this year up. So it's like it's not my first time, but a lot of people would have been like, who is this? Like they're so used to like my friend being on the channel and she's great. But I'm not gonna lie, I was like very nervous about the comments, but they've been like very nice so far, really super, like throughout all the platforms that I've seen.
Yeah, so, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So do you think there are a lot of opportunities for sort of Africans or Black people within anime?
I think it depends. First of all, for sure, because a lot of us are talented. Like my cousin Joshua is like so freaking talented, and I want him so bad to get into like manga and like digital art, but he's doing his own thing in London. Respect it. But yeah, I definitely think so. Like I mean there right now, there might not be a lot of us. But I do think that as long as you know what you want to do, I do think there's like a path for like I do think there's like a lot of room for us to be here as long as you know what you want to do and like exactly what path it is that you want to, get into within the industry. Because I think a lot of people's problems is like they'll ask me like, hey, how do I get into like the anime world? And I'm like, well, what do you want to do? And a lot of the like literally every answer that I've gotten has been, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, great. You don't know, but like brushing up whatever skills you have and like use those skills and try to figure out how you can be involved in this industry. Because it needs a lot of us. Like we're talented as fuck. So like, there's definitely room for us in this industry. We just gotta, know what we want to do. And
yeah, it's interesting. It's also kind of cool that recently we've seen sort of aspects of our culture kind of crossing over with anime. So for example, we've got like musicians like Megan Thee Stallion and Doja Cat, putting anime in their videos and cosplaying from time to time and that sort of thing. So I don't think it's not mainstream to associate us with anime any longer. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that. So what do you think about the sort of the fan base? Do you think there are a lot of us in the fan base? You think are we getting a little bit more visible, or do you think we're still sort of more low key and on the down low?
Oh no, you're talking about like Black people in general? Because like we are like, to me, I've never known a Black person that didn't like anime. Like I've never known a Black person that did not like anime. So when people are, act like people like me or like people like y'all are like unicorns, it's like, no, I literally grew up not knowing, like I've never just known a Black person to not like anime. Like it's to me, like the idea is like ridiculous. So yeah, I think we make up a good majority of the fan base, and like not even just in anime, but like in nerd culture in general.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would agree. In fact, one of the things that struck me recently is how it looks like Black blurs are beginning to not just be fans, but they're beginning to create their own opportunities in there. Because like
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this a while back. Did you ever see that UALA short?
Oh yeah, my friend Cleo was involved in it, and I got to see the premiere in LA. Was it? I think that was like maybe this year. Yeah, or no, late last year.
Yeah, it was last year, I think. Yeah, that was last year. Yeah. But I mean, I stumbled on it because I was following Guy Da Silva, guy who was the stuntman in Black Panther. And he tweeted about it. And I was like, okay. And then somebody else mentioned I should take a look at it. And I went back and said, oh, wait, hell, he did tweet about this. And he on Instagram. And I watched it and I was blown away. And I had just started getting into, because I'm the guy who decided later in life to get into anime, right? Like literally, I think it was last year, I said, okay, I'm gonna start watching proper anime. And I was watching, I've seen My Hero Academia, I started watching Full Metal Alchemist, but I think the day I was watching it, the kids were there, and my wife was like, that's a little violent. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I stopped it, and shifted gears into something else. But I guess there's opportunities. I've seen so many people creating their own shorts, their own little videos on YouTube. There's so many of those out there, fan videos, fan films, and versions of this that it's insane. It's really cool.
I mean, just to give you some even in the UK. So my sons are full on anime heads. Their cousins the same thing, and I have to take. So when we go to Comic Cons, in the past I used to dress up like Marvel, DC. Now it's all about anime. And when I got there, there's quite a large contingent of Black people full on cosplaying. So yeah, it's taking off, and to my horror. But yeah, it's fine.
All right, so that begs a question. I started running into these words, which is one of the reasons why I paid attention to it. Words like otaku, words like waifu, and so many more. And I have to go Google and say, what the heck does that mean? What is this?
I'm so sorry for whatever you found.
I'm just saying. So, yeah, I found a few things.
My first introduction to that word wasn't.
I found a few things.
I'll just plead the fifth.
The thing that struck me though was how accepting of Japanese culture, and how it made it. Anime made a lot of that accessible. It made it very accessible to Black people in this part of the world. It made it acceptable more or less to the whole world. So I guess. Do you think there are lessons to be learned there for like Nigerian artists, African artists, people who are creatives, in how to represent African culture in a way that's accessible to the rest of the world?
Yeah, I think a big part of anime being so successful is like the community. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like because there was like, marketing has also a big thing to do with it, but like I feel like the sense of community and like how anime fans, for the most part, there are some some wild people, but like I think for the most part, like just growing that big community, because like I think we're starting to see like in Africa specifically or folks are starting to realize, hey, they like this kind of stuff in that part of the world, like so they started I don't know if you saw Comic-Con Africa. What was that? I don't know if y'all heard of
in South Africa.
Yeah, they started that. I know one of my friends who's like a big anime YouTuber. She recently was a guest for Comic-Con Africa, and I was like, hey, like, I have a lot of cousins in like Nigeria who love anime, and like people seem to like not know this stuff, Okay, so anyways, I think it's all about like spreading growing communities. Like what you guys have with this podcast is amazing. Like exactly what we need to show like, hey, tons of other Black people around the world love anime. Specifically like Nigerian people. I know for sure, like all the Nigerian people that I know in my life, family members, friends, like they all love anime. And so I think it's good to create that representation first and like really build communities like these and like just, you know, keep building them so that we can get streaming services over in Nigeria. We can get streaming services over, you know, in Kenya and Ghana, like wherever we need them, so that people can have more access to anime. And yeah, I'm like forgetting what the question is. I'm sorry. I don't even. I hope I'm making sense. But
no, you're fine. You're fine. I guess for me, I'll tell you this much. For me, when I jumped into anime, started watching some of these shows, I was blown away because there's a lot of it that's relatable to me. I can relate to some of these things. Granted, some of it is pretty melodramatic, a little more melodramatic than I would like. Yes, Doc Paul, shut it, because Doc Paul, I make fun of him because I'm like, you should love anime since he loves CW shows. Comic book shows, so let's leave that alone. But anyway,
yeah,
I'm just saying. But I guess for me, really looking at Africa, we're all about not just creating that community, but also empowering the guys who want to jump into that medium and become creatives in that medium. So if we can find a way to do that, we'd love to, you know, make those connections, you know, and hit people up and say, hey, you know, there's others like you. And that's why we love having people like you out there, because people like you you're shining that light that says, hey, people like me can do this. Not just.
I mean, I like to hope that like I love that I'm like, I feel that I'm like representing, or I hope that I'm representing for like Black nerds, but I also hope that like, you know, when people see my last name, that they're also like, oh, but she's like, you know, she's a Black nerd, but she's also African, like, oh, she's, you know, she's Nigerian. Okay, well, then that's like another layer of representation added onto there. So like, you know, I just want to be able to like show people like, hey, first of all, there's different sections in this industry that we could all tap into.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it's possible. You know, it took a little, but it's possible. And yeah, I'm always like here to give advice, any questions, as long as people know what they want to do. And yeah, I mean, I'm hoping, you know, but you guys are also creating that representation here with your podcast. You know, now that I know about it, now that I've like seen it, I have to like support full, you know, go into supporting full throttle. So yeah, I mean, we're all doing our part pretty much. As long as we're creating content and it's being seen, we're doing our part. So.
Indeed.
Agreed.
Well, hey, on that note, we're gonna wrap things up here, but it's been awesome. We've had with us today Cheyenne Ewulu. She's been a fantastic guest. You can find her online. She hosts Funimation Flashback, which is a show that dives into some of the specifically some of the anime shows that she got into. I don't know if you're gonna like the one she picked, but if you don't, hit us up and hit her up in the comments. If you do, please leave her a comment and go subscribe. Give her all the support you need, and especially if you're somebody who's in that industry or wanting to get into that industry, please reach out to Cheyenne. Cheyenne, tell them where they can find you if you don't mind.
So you can find me, like, aside from Funimation Flashback, I also like create my own like my own little content on social media. So you can like find me everywhere on social media at Cheyenne the Geek, all one word. We had a brand change this year, you feel me? But yeah.
I feel you.
Awesome. And you can find us, listen to our podcast on, we're on Amazon Music now. You can also catch us on Spotify. You can also catch us on the Google Podcast. Apple Podcast, what's going on? You can listen to us. We're the Naija Nerds, THE Naija Nerds. You can also go to our website, naijanerds.com. And on all social media at THE Naija, Naija Nerds, the Naija Nerds, anywhere you, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, or even Facebook. So thanks for listening.
Sorry, where can I get a shirt?
Oh, a shirt? No worry, I got you. I got you covered. Don't you worry about that. Awesome. So this has been great. Hey guys, say bye.
See you later.
Bye, everybody.